Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Lunch and Learn series. I am Helen Panos, Dynamis Learning, a K through 12 tutoring, SAT, ACT prep, and executive functioning. We are nationwide. We are 95% virtual. Have 25 tutors that work for me, and all of them are terrific. I have to brag about them. I have a great assistant, Destiny. I want to do a big shout out to her today because she was assisting me while I was at the dentist. Why I'm doing the Lunch and Learn a little later than usual. So let's talk today about the topic of starting school strong. Looking a little ahead, and really, schools here in Atlanta start August 3rd through the 5th, most of them on the 3rd. So I've already been getting calls from parents about tutoring, executive functioning, SAT, ACT prep. So actually, I hate to say it, parents, school's not that far away. I know nobody wants to hear that because technically summer's not done. But I do want to, basically give you some tips today. I know you're going to say, what? Some of you may be thinking, wait a minute. We're still in the summer months, Helen. I know. Summer's important. Kids need some time off, downtime, rest, you name it, fun. Hopefully, they're having some fun with the FIFA Cup. I know US is out, but still a lot of fun games to come. They need time. Kids need some time away from the constant pressure of assignments and grades and schedules, and so do parents, right? But looking ahead does not necessarily mean rushing summer. We're just trying to be proactive and not let the chaos hit you in the head come August, because school's starting earlier and earlier every year. So we don't want to be hit, parents, like a freight train. So here's some tips and some simple ways that parents can help their children start school strong by looking ahead now. Number one, I actually have a back to school planner for you guys for free. It actually allows for this particular number one item. Reflect before you plan. This is a great time right now in July to be reflecting about the school year, because it's coming up kind of quickly. So the first thing I would want parents to do is look back before looking forward. Ask yourself what worked last school year and what didn't. I mean, I think that's why I'm getting phone calls right now, is because parents are thinking about this. Like, I'm not going to, I just had a conversation with someone yesterday for a rising eighth grader. I'm not going to have them having me do their entire schedule. They need to start becoming a little more independent because they're going to be transitioning to high school soon. This is a very popular topic, by the way, and executive functioning is where that's at. But definitely look over what happened the prior year, and you can do that with my back to school planner, actually. Let me turn off this timer. Somehow it did that. So this link will be live on the comment section in the introduction, so you can get it there. I want you to get a little bit more specific, though, when you're thinking about this. Was homework constantly being forgotten? Were mornings really chaotic and they couldn't get organized and out the door? Did your child wait until 10 the night before to start a project? Ugh, who wants that as a parent, right? Did missing assignments pile up over time? Was test anxiety a problem? I've been getting some calls in June about test anxiety in the SAT, ACT prep. Did your child struggle with reading, writing, or math? Did they understand the material but have trouble getting started? Think about anything that happened this past year, especially second semester of this past school year. The last one is especially important because sometimes what looks like laziness is actually a lack of motivation and is actually an executive functioning challenge. So if you don't know what executive functioning is, we've got plenty of YouTube channels out on that. I have a blog out there on that. You can go to my website at dynamislearningacademy.com. We have a page about executive function. So a student may not know exactly what needs to be done, but struggles with task initiation, planning, organizing, time management, or emotional regulation. These are the top ones for executive functioning. Instead of saying we need to do, let's have a better year, guys. You say that to your child, right? Identify one or two specific areas that created the most stress in your family's life, okay? Simple question to ask. What was the biggest obstacle to my child's success last year? Really take a look at that. You and your husband, you and your spouse, you and your partner, and then talk to the child, if they're older, talk to the child about what was their biggest obstacle last year. That answer gives you a big starting point. Okay. Number 2, don't wait for the first bad grade to happen. One of the biggest mistakes that families make is waiting until there's a problem. You start kind of getting hints of that problem, and then the problem gets really big, right? So school starts, everybody's hopeful, great. And then several weeks go by, not even several, like 2 or 3. Suddenly there's this bad test grade, because it takes about 2 or 3 weeks to have a test grade, right? But kind of pay attention, folks, to missing assignments or them look like they're struggling getting their work done and it's taking them too long, or they're asking you for help a lot. And by the time the parent realizes that there's a pattern, the student may just feel overwhelmed or discouraged. They may shut down. So looking ahead, ask now in July, parents, where might my child need support before the struggle actually begins? You've probably seen some signs already. Maybe your child had difficulty in math last year. I've gotten a lot of calls about math. And the next course builds directly on those skills. So, we're tutoring right now in July. You'd be surprised. Parents that are proactive, they've already called us. And why? They want them in gear, in brain motion for next month. Maybe your teens struggle to manage their classes because I have so many of them. And their, athletic schedule is so busy and they need some help with time management, organization. Maybe your teen, your child who has ADHD possibly, and every school year, you see this, the same pattern. Good intentions. I'm going to do well, mom. Good intentions followed by total disorganization, right? Support is often most effective when it is proactive rather than reactive. Okay. Proactive rather than reactive. You don't have to wait for a crisis to happen, parents. Then that causes all kinds of chaos within the household, especially even with other children. So number 3, start building routines gradually. Now, I know parents, kids don't want to hear you're going to start like having them go to bed a little bit earlier, but at least 2 weeks before school starts, I would get them back on schedule. Now, I'm not suggesting that you suddenly put your child on a strict school schedule like in the middle of the summer, just because, they're going to be going back in about 3 or 4 weeks. That's probably not going to go over very well with them. But about 2 or 3 weeks out, I would do it. I'd start thinking about routines, look at the sleep schedule, look at the wake up time, look at morning expectations, look at screen habits, talk to them. Every Sunday, start having a meeting. Maybe next Sunday, you start having these parent meetings, right, with your kids, family meetings, I call them. Look at how your child prepares for the next day. Take a look at that. Ask them some questions. You can do this with 2nd and 3rd graders too. If your teen is going to go to bed at 2 a.m. and wake up at noon and moving immediately to a 6:30 wake up time and is going to be quite rough. So we want to slowly start cutting that back now. Hey, we're already at July 7th. Instead of shifting that completely gradually, you don't want to like cold turkey that. That same goes for organization. You can begin asking simple questions like, where will your backpack go this year? Where do you want it to sit before you grab it to go out the door in the mornings? Where will you charge your laptop? Do we need a laptop charging station so you can then pack it into your backpack and take it to go? You don't want to be late catching your bus or make me late to work because I'm dropping you off at school, right? How will you keep track of these assignments? Ask your child that. Start thinking about simple things like this. What do you want your morning routine to look like? The goal is not for the parent to create the entire system. The goal is to involve the student, everyone. Yes, involve them. And if you think you're going to be butting heads with them, because I get a lot of calls from moms that tell me that about their sophomore, juniors, and seniors, I get it. Moms are trying to tell them what to do. And, you got boys that are almost adult men, right? And they really don't want to hear it. So give us a call if you don't want to be fighting with your teen. And that's really a very common statement I hear, believe it or not. So because when students have some ownership, they are more likely to use the system. And my executive function coaches have multiple ideas, not just one, not just the way you were taught, not the way I was taught growing up to do time management, organization, and all these other things. It may not work for your child. Has anybody thought about that? Yeah. You would think that it's going to work. The way you were taught, that's how they're going to do it too. Nope. I hate to say and break the news, that's not how it works. So number 4, choose one skill to strengthen. That is one of my favorite strategies is do not try to fix everything at once. Choose the one skill. Maybe it's starting assignments without repeated reminders. Oh, God, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Using a planner or a calendar. Now, not just a digital calendar, because that might not work for your child. Keeping track of materials. How are they going to do it? Breaking large projects into smaller steps so they're not waiting to the last minute to tell you they have it due tomorrow. Preparing for tests earlier. How's that studying look? It's not, we're going to cram the night before. I think we used to do that in college. That doesn't work. Then you're really tired the next day, and then they got to not have any brain power for whatever they're doing the next day. Asking teachers for help, finding out they have tutoring sessions. Managing frustration when work feels difficult. If they get stressed, we don't want them to get test anxiety or any kind of anxiety. How are they going to manage that? Be prepared for that too, parents. Because back then, we didn't have those things. But nowadays, you have all kinds of resources out there for you. So let's release that stress that's not necessary. So that's it. Because when families try to change 6 things at once, it really becomes a little overwhelming. I think if I try to change 6 things at once, I'm going to be overwhelmed. But when you identify just one skill and practice it consistently, you can build momentum. Momentum is what builds confidence. Yes, that's right. Momentum builds confidence, folks. And I am so happy to say that my executive function coach, Katina, did a whole blog on this. It's going to be released here in July, if it hasn't already. And also a podcast. We're going to be talking about momentum. And I use that word intentionally, momentum, because we often wait for motivation to happen, but motivation can be pretty much unreliable. Sometimes action comes first, folks, and motivation then follows. Action steps toward motivation being built. Number 5, have a looking ahead conversation with your child. Again, Sundays are a good day. A lot of my parents, especially dads, tell me they have family meetings on Sundays. Why not start those in a couple Sundays from now? Have a short conversation with them. Nothing long, since it's summer, with your child before school begins. Not a lecture, not a 1-hour family meeting, just a simple conversation. You might ask, what do you want to go better this next school year that might have not gone very well last year? Include them in on that. What was hardest for you last year? Let them figure that part out. What would make mornings easier? What is one thing you want to feel more confident about? And then as an adult, let's just listen. Your child's answer may surprise you. Sometimes parents focus on grades while the student is anxious about a particular subject. Sometimes the student knows exactly what went wrong last year, but doesn't know how to change it. And neither does a parent sometimes. That is where support, strategy, and coaching can make a really big difference, folks. So as we look ahead to the new school year, I know we got a few weeks left, but not much. Sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Remember this, a strong school year does not begin with the first homework assignment. It begins with awareness. It begins with reflection. It begins with identifying what your child needs and putting the right support in place before the stress gets out of hand. Again, the 5 things you want to remember today that I went over. Reflect on what worked and what didn't. Number 2, don't wait for the first bad grade. Number 3, rebuild routines gradually, not cold turkey. Choose one skill to strengthen. That was number 4. And number 5, we are looking ahead with a conversation with your child, not once school has started and it's really chaotic. At least a couple weeks before would be good. You do not need a perfect plan, parents. You just need a thoughtful point to start with. At Dynamis Learning, we work with students and families in areas of K through 12 tutoring, SAT and ACT prep, and executive function coaching. Our goal is to provide personalized support and solutions for academic success. If you're wondering what kind of support might help your child start a year stronger, feel free to reach out to us for a complimentary consultation. My information is right there. DynamisLearningAcademy.com. You can go to the contact us section or text at 770-282-9931. Thank you for spending part of your day with me today and your afternoon. This will run in the feed, so it's a good one. You should listen to it. Enjoy the rest of your summer. I'm not trying to knock the summer off and shorten it even more than schools have already. Keep looking ahead, and let's help our students start school strong so they don't feel anxious, stressed, and either do you. Great seeing you guys again, and we will be on next week with I believe I have I have my college essay writing person coming on. She is absolutely amazing, and she's going to be talking about navigating the new realities of college admissions in 2026. Her name is Charlotte, and then I will be doing the 21st, the first 30 days, Keys to Student Success, first 30 days of school. We'll be getting closer at that point. And then July 28th, Alexa Walker will be joining me with Parenting Under Pressure, Understanding Your Nervous System. She's terrific as well. You'll have to come out and meet her on the 28th. All of these will be at 12 noon. Should be no conflicts at that point. I appreciate you letting me come on late today due to my swollen gum from a dental appointment. All right, guys. I hope and pray that all goes well as you reflect on the prior school year with your children. Bye for now.